We're going to welcome Keith Allison up here next. Keith is a father, an educator, a public speaker and event host. He's a video editor, a poet, a spoken word artist, a real Renaissance kind of guy. So let's bring Keith on up for our next speech here. Thank you very much.
How are y'all doing? Man, it's great seeing this crowd out there. Thanks for coming out tonight. When you speak out for things that matter to you, for causes that matter to you, it can break your heart. And I think it's fair to say it will break your heart. But if you don't speak out for them, things don't get better. And so there's a need to get together. There's a need to talk about peace. And you need to talk about what peace is. Like, you need justice to have peace. Otherwise, you have a surface level, get along and not a true justice society. And when you speak out for others, sometimes others won't see the suffering that you do. Sometimes others will see things in a different way. Sometimes others will see the suffering and not care, or see the suffering and not care enough to do anything about changing those. And as artists, part of what we get to do is use our voice for raising awareness for issues. Part of what we get to do is vent our frustrations because we need release. And when we talk about peace and justice, plenty of humans have plenty of things we need to address, and plenty get pushed under the table. And then in addition to that, we have other beings we share the planet with that we often don't even consider worthy of consideration in the conversation, that they would deserve any peace or justice. Thank you. And so my first piece today is going to address a little bit of that, a little bit of the heartbreak, a little bit about the other beings we share the planet with. When I ordered the veggie burger and you asked me, if you wanted something that tastes like meat, why don't you just eat meat? What I wanted to say was, because it's not the taste I oppose, it's the torture. What I wanted to say was, if it could taste like meat, why would you insist on death? What I wanted to say was, because I can watch my food go from farm to table and not lose my appetite, can you? What I wanted to say was the same reason you would teach a child when an apple is perfectly ripe to pick, but not when a neck is ripe to slice. Why is slaughter okay as long as you don't have to watch? But I know I'd be the angry vegan. What I wanted to say was, why aren't you angry? But I don't. Because I want to enjoy the dinner, the company. So I just die a little inside quietly. Not literally like the 10 billion farmed animals a year in America. Just another kick, another bruise, another moment where my heart takes a hit. Another few grains of compassion I watch trickle through humanity's hourglass. Feeling like we are running out of compassion, of time. I'm just trying to hold a few grains above surface level, and you ask why I don't like the sound they make when they fall. Maybe I failed the animals in this moment, or maybe I've had to learn how to live in a world that doesn't want to know, doesn't want to look, doesn't want to listen, doesn't want to care, just wants their bloody burger. What I wanted to say was, the writing has been on the wall. The United Nations Environmental Program and Harvard and Oxford and the top environmental scientists across the globe warn of the dire consequences of this industry's land use, water use, deforestation, and greenhouse gas emissions, how killing them is killing us. And you just smile and chew because it tastes so good to die. Appreciate that. Appreciate your presence throughout. I am going to throw a short haiku in here, and then I'm going to do one more piece after that. My apologies to Jim on the number, but I think a haiku I can squeeze in here and be okay at my time. What you really mean when you oppose DEI, you want the white guy. Thank you. All right, I'm going to leave you with one more. I wrote this the first time a certain someone was in office before we, decided to make America great again. Yeah. I see all these people shouting with hate. I was just wondering, now, are we great? We've demonized immigrants, locked children in crates. I was just wondering, now, are we great? We declared a religion we won't tolerate. I was just wondering, now, are we great? We attacked your rights because you aren't straight. I was just wondering, now, are we great? Hate crimes have climbed at an alarming rate. I was just wondering, now, are we great? Too many students keep losing classmates. I was just wondering, now, are we great? We ignore the homeless, but the rich celebrate. And I was just wondering, now, are we great? Women's rights to their bodies evaporate. I was just wondering, now, are we great? We consider protesters enemies of the state, turning weapons on those who demonstrate, using tear gas to ensure equality cannot fumigate. I was just wondering, now, are we great? Well, not just great, but great again. And that has me wondering, when? The time of tribal extinction? Or when we shackled our slaves? When women couldn't vote? Oh, those were the days. When we hid in our closets from genuine fear? When we were locked in prison for just being queer? When American citizens of Japanese descent were held indefinitely in internment? When we granted rights based on the color of skin? When segregation forever, our governors grinned? When Nazis marched openly out in the street, something I never thought we'd repeat. Is it greatness now and greatness then that our government kills with a fountain pen? Is this greatness we see as we look all over? I guess greatness is in the eye of the beholder.
Great. That's Keith Allison.